General Motors has confirmed that more than 600 employees, which is approximately 35% of their workforce, will be jobless by the end of July this year. Last week, GM announced that it is disinvesting in South Africa and is selling their vehicle assembly plant in Port Elizabeth to Isuzu. In January 2018, the Japanese vehicle manufacturer will be taking over the plant from GM. The manufacturer has built their vehicles for over 90 years and have not disclosed the price for the buyout, though. Joining us in studio now, we've got Andrew Chirwa. He's the president of the National Union of Metal Workers of South Africa, that's Numsa, to talk about the job losses and, among other things as well. It's a massive story. Good to have you in studio. Welcome.
Thank you very much and good morning.
Now, you met with GM on Monday, and it was in this meeting that they confirmed that 600 jobs will be lost. And I do say this, I emphasize at least 600 jobs, because I've heard predictions of up to 1,000 job losses.
Look, we must say that you're very correct. It could actually go to close to 5,000 when you include workers in the value chain who are actually suppliers to General Motors. I mean, from where we're sitting, General Motors has confirmed our long-held view that under capitalist mode of production, workers are nothing else but raw material, which can be bought and sold at any time. You could see that there's no humanity even in handling this very difficult time for workers in General Motors. As we speak, General Motors knew 2 years in advance, we know for sure, but they decided to keep quiet. At the last minute, they decided to call workers into a stadium, not even in their own companies, just to say to them, we are leaving. So they are leaving workers without even saying goodbye.
Yeah, and you were very upset by that, because I remember, I think it was on last week when this came out, you guys said you smell a rat, that this wasn't right, because, I mean, to just suddenly talk about it, no meeting. Did they ever consult with you at all in the lead up to the announcement?
No, the truth of the matter, they never consulted. And that's why we're shocked. That's why we suspect that there must be something that they're hiding, because there are laws in this country which force companies to consult in advance, not just to call us on the day when they've decided that workers must go, so that our role become a rule of accompanying workers home, when we're supposed to be meaningfully engaging with companies to say how best can we save other number of jobs, which there are possibilities if we are consulted on time. But clearly, they've had their decisions, they've decided workers must go. And that's why any other process that is going to follow, in our view, is going to just simply be a sham.
So you obviously have this meeting with them. What was the reasoning behind not giving forewarning, not bringing you all into their fold and saying, look, this is where we're at, and having the discussion? I mean, because the ramifications, as you've already mentioned, are going to be huge.
Look, I won't try to be a spokesperson of GM, but I would simply say to you that there is no justification, except that they are still engaging with new companies that might come into the space. They are still engaging with various partners to see how best can this process be taken forward. But other than that, we have not found anything solid as a reason why they decided to keep this deal, which they were negotiating all the time under them. I mean, for instance, they never consulted even government. This is a company that stayed in South Africa, supported by government through incentive scheme of the automotive development program which we have in this country. They have milled millions, if not billions of monies to stay here in South Africa. But they don't even inform government on time, give warning at least to people that this is what is going to happen.
So, this is not the first time that General Motors has left South Africa. I think it was back in 1986 during apartheid. They decided to jump ship as well. Do you think there's more to this as well, looking at our downgrades, looking at the economy of South Africa, looking at the leadership and the instability? I know that COSATU have put that as perhaps a reason as to why we're seeing companies like GM pull out. Do you think that this is also behind their reasoning?
Look, they left before under difficult political conditions. Now we've got democracy, we're in a new dispensation. In our view, we think that this has been a well-calculated move by General Motors. They are not doing it just in South Africa alone. They've done it in other markets in the world. They've done it in Australia, for instance. We hear they are doing the same in India. So this is how capital operate. I mean, for us, capital knows no color, has no loyalty. They are only loyal to profit. So As soon as they find new places where capital can make lots of profit, they don't even say goodbye. They pack their bags and go. And it is our view that even if there's a crisis, which unfortunately Mr. Zuma himself, with his recklessness of handling the economy, gives these companies ammunition to simply leave and take advantage of the situation in South Africa. But we don't think it's about leadership. These companies operate in countries that have got serious instability. So we don't think that they are loyal to leadership. They don't care. To them, it's leadership insofar as they can maximize profit. Yeah. So we think that, yes, there's a problem of junk status, but these decisions was well calculated, taken, even if Zuma can get us into this crisis.
Have they spoken about packages for those workers that are being retrenched? Have you discussed this with them as yet?
We met with them, you're very correct, for the first time. There is a process that will be led by the CCMA. That process will be underway very soon in the next coming week or two. In their letter, which they are confirming that workers will lose their jobs, they are actually immediately beginning to suggest that there's a possibility that there could be packages that are offered. It's a process that, of course, is regulated by the industry agreement, which we shall engage in that process to ensure that at least we soften the blow for members who will be losing their jobs. So definitely there will be such issues on the table. But our first prize as a trade union is to defend jobs.
Yeah, indeed. Isuzu, are they coming to the party? I mean, are they absorbing a lot of the workforce? Because that's, obviously when you talk about the money, they obviously got a very good offer from Isuzu, and they're not putting it on the table. They're not being open about what that price was.
That's exactly why we're saying we smell a rat.
Okay.
Because the details of the deal with Isuzu have not been disclosed.
Yeah.
As a result, we wrote a letter to them. We've consulted our lawyers to say to them, if there has to be a meaningful consultation, you have to disclose the details. We can't trust General Motors now. The way they handled all this matter, secretly, you can't trust them. There must be something wrong with the deal. And it is our view that possibly they have get a better deal for themselves at the expense of workers. So now we are approaching Isuzu. We're setting up meeting. We hope that we could get better information, better details when we finally meet with Isuzu. We have not met yet.
All right, let's leave it there for this morning. We will certainly be inviting you back in just to keep updated on the story. It's a story that's going to affect a lot of lives, and certainly the town of Port Elizabeth being hit by this one, because that, of course, is where the assembly plant is. So Chevrolet no longer going to be made here in South Africa, and sales will cease. So this is a big and dramatic move in the motoring sector here in South Africa. Andrew, thank you so much for talking to us here on the program. Andrew Chirwa is the president of Numsa. Now, the big story today is the fact that voting stations will be open from 7 o'clock this morning to 7 o'clock this evening for voting.